So, dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session. So, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Once I get connected with the other network, we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight and neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes for ourselves to be very clear with this practice. So when it comes to Buddha's teaching, in early Buddhism, that's meaning especially in the very first 20 years of during Buddha's time, the most of people came to Buddha looking for some kind of advice regarding the life, because each and everyone look for the meaning of life. And even today, as you know, everywhere people try to find the meaning of life. And when it comes to that, there were many ideas about it. So the one of the idea is having a very happiness and satisfaction, and through with this conventional life in the material world. But as you know, it's not going to bring us kind of like a solution for our question, because that material world not going to be forever, and it cannot going to be everywhere. In a certain place you may experience some good things, but not in all the time, all the way, all the places. So another one is that believing the purpose of life or the meaning of life is belong to someone else. We have no right to question about it. Whatever come to us, and we have to accept it. We have to surrender to that. Believing or thinking it is someone else's decision. And another one is that some used to think, oh, this everything doesn't work for us. Need to get out of this all. And they used to reject and resist everything around them. And to a very extreme level of rejection, they used to get look for a way to get out of things. So when it comes to that all, another one is the karma, and making good karma will help us to have a good life. So people used to follow that and believing, but at the same time, when you look into that, just imagine you do the good and you become better, but it's not going to happen all the time. Maybe you go to the highest kind of like a heaven, and then maybe you come back to the bottom. So it's kind of like creating a circle, because all the time good karma not going to happen. Maybe all the time we can't bring the good things to. So like that, there was the deeper question: what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? That what is the significance of life, and what is the goal of this all? So people used to question about it. Another thing is, people used to measure the life. So when you can do the good things to others, it brings a meaning to yourself. Just imagine you do good things to someone else, and then you have a very meaningful life. But how about the person who get the help? Then what will happen to him? That means if the person get the help out of someone, and maybe if you think that you have a meaningful life, but for that person, he doesn't have a meaningful life. That means he having a meaningless life. So in that way, look very carefully, we all get the help out of each and everyone in a certain way. So that means that sometimes then even though we have ability to help others, and then we think, oh, my life is very meaningful. Why? Because I have opportunity to help others. And in a certain way, when we get the help from others, it become, for me, it become very meaningless, purposeless life. So then just go with the meaning, is that the meaningful life, and look for that, and how life going to be good was a kind of like a question. And everybody look for that. So then what the Buddha gave as answer, rather than going to look that what is the purpose of life, what is the meaning of life, what is the kind of like the goal of life, we have to come to look into how in the moment you can live a very meaningful life within yourself, with your bodily, verbally, mentally action, rather than go into look into meaning of life. So the mean, when it comes to the meaning, it's come from the mental, mind. It's a kind of like the mind, life itself, mind, it's a kind of like a mental operation. So in the moment, how your mind behave, and out of that, your meaningful life going to come. Otherwise, if you look for the meaning of life, and there is no end, so then how you can come to this meaningful life? So the meaning, when you come to meaningful life, you have to look into the condition of the mind. So when it comes to the condition of the mind, there are a few things we have to understand. Sometimes it can happen out of the object point of view, and sometimes out of the subject point of view. But the moment of experience always keep changing. And if you go with the object point of view, then out of this outside world, according to the conditions, then according to the material world, we just go with it. And if you go with the subject point of view, according to your past experience, you bring the situation. You overtake the situation, and then the repetition going to happen. But the moment of experience always keep changing. That means not the outside, not your past, but in this very moment, your form, feeling, perception, volition, and recognition keep changing. So if we have ability to detach from the object point of view and the subject point of view and experience this, the moment of change happening inside you, in that very level, you will get out of the collective nature. Otherwise, we always go with the memory. When we go with the memory, we lose the ability of recognition regarding the present moment of this process. So another thing is, when you go with the object point of view and the subject point of view, that both will ignite your greed, hatred, and the delusion. But in the very present moment, that if you see the change happening within your own inner experience related to form, feeling, perception, volition, and recognition, in that moment, there is no greed, hatred, or the delusion, because whatever the experience need to combine with the past or the future to bring the greed, hatred, or the delusion. So then when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, it is very clear what the Buddha's purpose was, bringing the teachings regarding what is suffering and how you can get out of the suffering. That is it. So all these teachings related to that. What is really suffering and how you can get out of the suffering. Because people didn't have the clear understanding what is suffering. Look at the world. And sometimes even in day-to-day life, in this very conventional level of life, when we want to get out of a problem, and sometimes we get into another problem. When we want to get out of the disease, we will get into another disease. When we want to get out of a sickness, we going to get another sickness. That is the knowledge we have. And sometimes we go through a very difficult life and we wish, oh, I don't want this, I want to get out of this. And now, thinking to get out of the problems, what happens? We get into another problem. That's what we see every day. No. So that is why that we don't have very clear understanding what is suffering. So that's why the Buddha directly addressed to our life and tells what is the misunderstanding about life. Because once you misunderstand, it's going to go wrong. Once it goes wrong, there is suffering going to happen. So when it comes to the right view, that is the important part. Because once you understand what is suffering, it will help you to get out of it. Otherwise, we will go towards it. So when we believe that there is something, and when we believe that there is me, I am, and there is something, and then out of that, when we hold it to the memory, collective nature, and top of that, whatever we build up, it's going to bring us the wrong result. That wrong result itself leads us to the suffering. So to get out of the suffering, first thing you have to understand what is suffering and from where it comes. So, and the very important thing you have to understand, in the present moment, it's not going to ignite your greed, hatred, and the delusion. So when your moment of experience combine with the past or the future, as a result of that, your greed, hatred, and the delusion arise. As a result of greed, hatred, and the delusion, what happened? The suffering arise. So now, once you come to the moment of experience and you know in that very moment what you experience itself, it is changed. And it's always a brand new moment that you have in front of you. And when you are capable to see that from the bottom line, not regarding the object point of view or the subject point of view, but the very experience itself, moment by moment change. And it will help you to get out of the collective nature, and your experience not going to combine with the past or the future. So that mental action, that mental operation will help to reduce the greed, hatred, and the delusion happens inside us. When the greed, hatred, and the delusion reduce, as a result of what will happen, the the suffering out of your bodily, verbally, mentally action going to reduce. So in that way, by the time when you are capable to have a very clear understanding in the present moment, knowingly how the form, feeling, perception, volition change, and you are not bound to, you are not have any craving, you are not have any desire, you are not have any kind of attachment to your own inner experience. So as a result of that, what will happen? You will get out of your own greed, hatred, and the delusion. So that is the path to get out of this suffering. So what the Buddha said, the very clearly mentioned about the suffering and this attachment and the misunderstanding. And it helped for us. And sometimes people take it as kind of like a very negative way, but even look yourself, sometimes when we drive on freeways, you know, it's show us the speed limit. Why it shows that? Why that sign is there? And sometimes when we want to take a bend, turn, you know, it shows us the sign, because it helps us. Maybe for a moment, we don't like to slow down. You know, we like to drive fast. But when we see the speed limit, when we slow down, it helps us. So like that, all the teachings will help for us to know about the very nature of life. So when you are capable to understand it very clearly, it will help you to recognize your own inner experience, not about this outside. So we are so into this outside things, outside informations, but we don't know what is happening inside us. But through this process, you are capable to understand what is happening in you. So rather than look for meaning of life and try to develop a very meaningful life. So for that, what you need to do, rather than depending from past or the future, just tune to the moment of experience and see, it doesn't matter whoever. Take each and every moment as a very brand new moment and keep the newness in you and bring the best out of you. Develop your creativity to the highest level and bring the best out of you moment by moment, moment by moment. So in that way, you are capable to, so it's going to become a kind of like a profitable skill to yourself, and your mindfulness is going to be there with you. And all the creativity going to be there with you. So rather than depending from the past to the future, you are now tuned to the moment. And in that very moment, your mind purifies from the greed, hatred, and the delusion. And then by the time you will recognize it is a process that moment by moment, and even in that very moment, it is not permanent, the experiencer. So then you are not bound to the even moment of experience happening, because you know it is change. And in that way, so by the time deeply you cultivate detachment within your own experience, and that is where you gain the true freedom. And through that freedom, you are capable to bring the very meaningful life to yourself. So that in that very meaningful life, it's a moment by moment, moment by moment process. And by the time you are capable to bring your transformation, your liberation, your freedom within your own habitual pattern, within your own repetition, within your own inner experience. And that inner experience, that inner change is going to become your ultimate bliss of Nibbana. So it is a process. This is the path, and by the time you will get into the end. So this process, not the end. So you have to develop this operation inside you, within your mind. And so by the time you will come to a point which is irreversible, and in that level, you will see how this unbiased a moment of experience bring the bliss. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left hand, neck hit straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. Bring attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say so Pateva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we are spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens through the sensation, recognize it, do nothing extra. If your mind go here and there, bring it back again and again. Just settle down with the sensation. So don't disturb to your natural inhalation, exhalation. Just keep observe. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Being Suva, frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward and upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chami sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe tatta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya Buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjissami idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless.